So there's the dot, and that is a point in counter space. And that's what humanity has not been able to meditate on enough to fathom. How information to produce this whole vibratory world comes from nothing. Remember they say the Big Bang is from nothing, right? Well, that's kind of true, but it's also very, very false, because there is no nothing. It comes from everything. In here is everything. That's a point that has everything. Let's liken it to a computer. Does a hard drive that is full of information weigh more than an empty hard drive? No. They're both the same weight. But this one's full of information. Man, you've got encyclopedias, you've got a terabyte of movies and information. This one's empty. They're the same weight. So, can you open the hard drive and find the movie or your favourite picture? Can you imagine trying to do that, Get a hammer, smash it open, where's that photo? Like in Zoolander. Remember that one? It's not there. These pretty little pictures. That's information that comes from out counter space. Now, where is it coming from? It's coming from the hard drive. And you know what? It's all just ones and zeros. Thanks, brother. Yeah. Good on you. Lovely. Alright, it's all ones and zeros in the computer, but you get all these beautiful pictures. So, there are 3 stages in getting this beautiful information on the screen. Let's imagine that this screen is the Earth. Okay? And your body, it's tangible. The Earth is tangible, your body is tangible, so the screen gives you something tangible. You can touch it, you can see it, that's tangible. It's not conceptual, right? So the RAM is the delivery system from the file, which is in counter space, because you can't, a doctor can't open your body and find that awful emotion that you've got trapped in your heart. Let's get it out with mechanical devices. It's not there. It's in counter space. Your emotions they're in your field, but they're not located in you. They are in counter space. Thoughts are as well. There's no, I don't have 7 million thoughts in different files in my head. They're not locatable. The brain receives them from the field. And so this is what's going on here. See the scripture here? I've got 3 different versions. By faith we understand that the universe was formed at God's command, so that what is seen was not made of what is visible. Now I like this one, the English Standard Version. By faith we understand that the universe was created by the Word of God, so that what is seen was not made out of things that are visible. So if you go to someone who's never seen a computer before and you show them a picture of your friend, your beautiful friend, they're going to look at that and where does that come from? Is she in the machine? No, well, she's not. And you'll have to try to find a way to explain that. So the spirit would be like the fire. Our spirit is in counter space. It's all in counter space. It's in heaven. It's not here in the physical world. And through torus fields, it projects into the physical world. And the spirit comes through with it. From here. Counter space. That's the fire. And then when the field, so you liken that to the field, to the, what happens is, that's a point of energy and consciousness and light and sound. That's God. And the RAM would be your soul. So you've got spirit, soul and body. Yeah? So So you've got the file, you've got the RAM of the computer, and you've got the screen. See, so when you turn your computer off, the file that you've just worked on and opened, that sleeps. Next day you reboot your computer, you work on it, and you've improved it. See, this is what the incarnation process is all about. We come out from an invisible seed, and our spirit comes into impregnation. We get conceived in the physical form, but it was invisible at the start. It was invisible. And that's where it came from. All the information was in the sperm and the egg. It was all there, all the DNA, everything was already there. How? Well, because it's the RAM, the soul, is coming into incarnation. And that's the tangible physical world, your body. And if you liken it to the computer system, you see how it works. And how counter space, it's the only way I know, the best way for people to understand what counter space is it does your head in. How can everything come from nothing? Well, it's not nothing, it's everything. It's just not spatial.
Would that be the all? When people refer to
the all.
Yeah.
It's like saying, you know, hang on man, this hard drive's not full, it's the same as weight as an empty one. It's not, it's got everything. It's all there. All the information is there. And that's what this is. And so when this expresses itself, it does something like this. As Ken Wheeler says, energy doesn't go point and then zips along like that. No, energy doesn't do that. It always goes point lines. He calls it point lines. So it goes like this. Always. From a point come two lines. Always. So, what you have is one of those lines does this. It's blue. I should have done the redshift first because redshift is always first. Science knows that red is the first colour, born from non-vibratory white light, which is magnetism. Then begins electricity, the wave. Redshift, blue shift. That's what electricity is. They call it electromagnetism. And then what happens is, there's an equal and opposite. Redshift, vortex, spiral. Walter Russell will call these two the vortexes, two vortices, you know, one and at the same time, the same thing is happening in the opposite direction. So there'll be red here, spiraling into compression here, and there'll be blue here, spiraling into compression here at this point. And this is what's going on in the universe. So this, the monad, the Godhead, that's God. The monad means one. Becomes now a dyad, a demiurge, a creator. Here is born the creator. These are the two gods, folks. There's this God, the source, and then there's this God, the creator, the force. There's the source
and the force.
And the force. I just posted a video about that yesterday on my YouTube channel, and I called it the source, magnetism, and the force, in parentheses, electricity. I know how it works.
You can't have the second without the first.
That's right. Force is what is making this world, this radiation. You see, redshift is right turning. Now, do you know what redshift, blue shift is, folks? Like, are you familiar with this? Yeah. It's in science, it's in everything. When it comes to stars, if a star is blue, they say it's coming toward you. It's blue shifted. It's the Doppler effect. And when the star's red, because from time to time, like Sirius in history, it says that once it was red and then it turned blue. There's this big thing about Sirius, the dog star, about it once being red. Clearly now it's blue. The brightest star in the sky, Sirius, is blue. Yet Ptolemy's talking about a red Sirius 2,000 years ago. And this is what causes scientists to think that they're moving, which they're not. But the stars, they say when they're red, they are going away. You see? So this is how energy works. Red is a very long wave. And blue, very, very short wave. Now when it comes to waves, smaller the wave, more capacitance, less capacitance. In the physical world, big suitcase, lots of gear. Small suitcase, only a few items. When it comes to light, it's different. So when you've got a blue laser, it is much, much more powerful than a red laser. And this will do a lot of damage. And then even the ultraviolets. Of course, if you go along the rainbow from red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, and you've got all those laser lights, those are the ones that are way, way more energy focused. Because laser light is coherent light. White light is not coherent. The atoms are not lining up in white light. They're all like this. But laser light, every atom, every torus field is bang on. And what happens, when everything works together, it's multiplicative. Okay, if you get one stick, it's easy to break. But when you put 4 like a fascite, right, not only is it 4 times stronger, it's multiplicative, so it probably ends up being 16 times harder to break, not 4. And that's what happens with laser light. All the atoms, they're all coherent, bang on the poles. And this white light, it's incoherent. So we can see with this white light, because it's more diffused. But this is how the monad, a point of energy, consciousness, information, which is stillness, creates the vibratory world. This is a pulse, folks. That is pulsating. And this is vibrating. So what happens is this creates a radiation wave. And a radiation wave is different to a transverse wave, which vibrates. But this is how space is made. You see how now that is spatial? But it's also time. This whiteboard's a little bit old, so it needs water. Can you see what I see? That looks like an hourglass, doesn't it? That's the center. Of the torus field, folks. So, it's redshift, blue shift.
Why is it called a torus field?
Sorry?
Why is it called a torus field?
Well, because it's not a particle. It's a field, spread out.
Why torus?
Good question. Really good question. And you're going to come to the answer right about in probably the next 2 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. Good question. Tall. So what you're going to find is that this is one of the most powerful words in all languages, tall. These are the 3 words you need to look out for in understanding everything today. Atum. Those are it. Once you learn these 3 words, and you know what they are, and how important those 3 words are, wow. You will have the key to understanding all things, because this is the key. This system, this is the system for understanding all fields of knowledge: theology, astrology, alchemy. So So what is this? Well, well, the Egyptians said all is atom. The Greeks said all is atom. Science tells you all is an atomic vibration. Your body's empty, it's just a vibration. It's totally empty. There's nothing there. It's just almost like an illusion. Yeah? Like those pictures, you know, if you turn the computer off, they're gone. It's like it was here one day, gone the next. And that's how temporal we are. Very transient, very unstable humanity. Short lives. But these torus fields, they give you a torso. If I put my torso right here, you know that the top of the torso has a blue chakra and the bottom has a red chakra. So the torso torus field, it knows about this science somehow, doesn't it? So if this, which is the torus field, does redshift, blueshift, and my torso does the same thing with my anatomy made of atoms, that's an anatomy. They said all is atom because that is the atom. It is the atom. All is atoms. But atoms, the model we've been given of neutron, proton, and electron, it's very unsatisfactory for going deeper. Because that's why we're here, aren't we? We want to know how to have knowledge in all fields. Why would you just want to be an expert in like one thing? Boring. You know?
So,
okay. Go on.
I was just going to say, looking at that, the center, that'd be the pulse, which would be the heartbeat, and then then the waves would be the breath, the in and out, the negative and positive breath.
In the middle of Bruship,
and that's the whole, and then that's the center of the heart, so that would be the pulse.
Yes, it is
the heartbeat. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 petaled green disc in the center of your torso, called the core, the cœur, the cardiac, le cœur, corazon, cuore in Italian. That's the apple core. These are the apples. This is what's going on. The third colour to come from redshift, blueshift. First is red always, immediately after is always its twin, blue. Instantly, but red is always first. And even in theology, it's always first. Adam and Eve. Adam's red, Eve means blue. Jacob and Esau. Esau was red. That's what his name means. Esau was red. Jacob was blue. Moses, red. Aaron, blue. All the twins, Pollux and Castor, you look at them, they're red and blue. Or they say green and orange. But if you look at the beautiful colours of Gemini, the two twins, Pollux and Castor, most fascinating stars. They look almost, one looks orange and one looks green. But it's redshift, blueshift. Rest assured. That's what the twins are all about. And the third colour is always green. And green is an anagram for energy. To ease. There you go. Green energy. You hear that a lot, don't you? Only in the wrong way, you know. Sustainability rubbish of the New World Order. But this is the most important word, atum. I've done so many presentations in Spanish, Portuguese, Italian, English, and it all goes back to this word. It doesn't just work in English. Don't stumble on that thought. A lot of people do. You know, they come to me saying, oh yes, but this all is great in English. But does it work in Italian? Yeah, it works in Italian. It works in Hebrew. I've put all kinds of languages into this, and it all goes back to these three words.
Is it vibrational, I guess?
Eventually, what you will see is all words ending in tor and bull. Creator, actor, realtor, able, capable, reliable, suitable. Why is tor and bull hanging off the end of all of our words? And tom, or this. Words that end in shin, nation, congregation, that's and ton. Yeah? That's all the atom. It's all because of this hyperbola. I'm going to change that for now. I insist on bull there because it's the opposite of a torus, because these are really hyperbola. Okay. This is the torus field. Here, this is the torus. People always talk about this donut. You see? It's like a donut. And everybody's talking about the torus field. If you know the work of Ken Wheeler on his YouTube channel, Theoria Apotheosis, another great magnetician, he says you cannot speak of the torus field without speaking of its converse, the inverse of a sphere. This makes a sphere. Okay? It's a big bowl. Bowl. And the converse of a sphere is the hyperbola. So you see where time and space, this is the male phallic. This is the uterus. You see? So you see this is pertaining to masculine bowl, which turns into phallic. Foul. It's the same as bowl. When you understand the rule, the law of interchangeables. Letters are interchangeable. L and R are the most important interchangeables. With L and R, you have red is right turning, red shift. Please register this one. This one's so important. Blue is left turning, blue shift. And can you see the word blue here and red? Right and left are embedded in red and blue.
Say that again.
They are one and the same. Right is red. All energy that turns right is red shift. It's all red. It's all radiating. All energy that is blue shift is left turning. It's all centripetal, convergent, centrifugal, divergent. Red shift is centrifugal. It's diverging. The lines go out. They're not parallel and they don't go in, converging. They never meet. Okay? But the energy's pulled back around to converge again, because this is a black hole. Okay? It's a point of white light. On the back of it is black light. White and light, black light are always together. That's why you have... We're going to be breaking at 12 or 12:30. Because I want to hit half an hour of question and answers. 12? How far is that?
Half an hour.
Oh, okay. Good. I can start question and answers. All right. So we've established that this is the atom, the tor is this, and the bowl is the hyperbola. Bowl has the same words as blue in it. It's right there. Make a note of that, and then you will navigate this system way better. You'll get to the end of it. Blue is left turning, L, left turning, compressing energy, converging. It brings the light back to source. That's why you go back to the black. You don't go back to the white. It's in the word, huh? Always look. You go back. Oh, gee, did I do that? Back to the black light, where there is no lack. Okay, white light is blanco. Blanco. Something that is blank is where you get your memory wiped. And you go to the white light, you'll come back. Black is where you go back. And that's it. you're going back. This is our stage now where we are converging with God. We're aligning our purpose with God's purpose. No apologies for using the word God. I've reclaimed that in all my presentations. I've always used it through there. It's not any way connected to church concept of God. It's the all that we are, as well as the individual. It's the divine. That's what God is, the divine. We still understand not what that means. We're far from that, but we are converging. We are at this stage. We radiate. We saw the white light. White light is red. Blue light, black light is akin to blue. That's why Krishna is always black or blue. First he is black, Krishna is black, because Krishna means black light. And Radharani is white or golden, because that's radiating magnetism. Radha, Rani, the consort of Krishna, is white. Magnetism. You see? Magnetism is the force. Dielectricity is the source.
Say that again.
Good, let's do that then. Remember at the start I said dielectricity? Magnetism, electricity. That's the trinity of all trinities. That is conscious energy. It's God. It's the Godhead. Krishna, Radharani, Balaram. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. The Father, the Mother, the Son. You name it. It's all that. That's all there is. Because dielectricity is the source. Black light. Everything goes back to the black light. Dielectricity is inertia. Rest. The feminine principle, it's explosive, it's magnetism. Mag in Sanskrit means to move. The woman, see, Eve, put things in motion. You see? And this is Adam and Eve. And I'll finish with that. Why, and then we'll continue. I'll do you question and answers. We're going to be a bit late for lunch, unfortunately. Is that all right? No? 12, has to be 12? Oh, yeah, put it out. So, this is Adam and Eve. How so? Adam is the number 1. Eve, even numbers, is the number 2. All systems are about 1s and 2s, 0s and 1s. Atom means indivisible. In other words, it means a unit. You can't divide an atom. It's one. It's a unit. Eve is even. All even numbers are feminine. All masculine numbers are masculine, are right. You see? So, what you have here is pulses, numbers, and they create this waveform, which is now Eve, even, you see? And also, Adam denotes the, I've got the point I was going to make. I'll get back to that. So, this is Adam's apple or Eve's apple. You see, in scripture you always hear about the apple that Eve ate. It's simply talking about the fact that when spirit comes into the world, the apple is the first symbol of incarnation because the body is an apple. The core is the heart. You see, we've already seen that it's red shift, blue shift. It's undeniable. Blue chakra, red chakra. The torso is aligned to this science atomically, and you have an anatomy. A torso, which is a torus field. And then you have a thorax. Thor is Tor. That's why you get all these words here. Look at all these words. Tor backwards means rotate, and red. Remember we said here, that's blue. Well, that's the German rot, is red. It's in the word. You'll see it if you look, and you'll understand what's going on with these very two important twins. These are the twins of all creation. And he will give you these words. talk. Story. This is a story. It's telling the story of his story. It's all about Taurus fields. That's an orator, the word of God, which makes manifest the world from nothing. How so? Actor, creator, author, tutor, motor. Look at that word motor. I love this word. I mean, Tom and Tor. It's my favourite word because it's right there. It's a motor. Magnetism is in motion. Rotor, Astor, what's a star? It's a Taurus field. Storm. Oh, it's created by storms, as we will see later. All storms are Taurus fields. You see a tornado? What is it? It's a hyperbola. And the ball of the hyperbola is on the ground. Grantor, inventor, mentor, contractor, restore, victor, and even this version, alter, even, because D and T are interchangeable, you see? Elder. This is rooted in Taurus fields, these words. It's everywhere. And there's another version, Thor, Tor, which is Jupiter. You see? Taurus fields. Jupiter represents Taurus fields. And Saturn represents the turning of the Taurus fields. That's why Saturn turn. You see that? Because what does Elohim mean in the Bible? The gods are called the Elohim. It means twisters, tornadoes. The Elohim, God, according to the Jews, is a twisting God. It's turning. Can't keep still. Magnetism can't keep still. Everything is in motion. Everything is in flux. Then you have all these words, and we're going to finish with this. That picture, I'll get back to that. That's a winery where I'm staying in California called Barlow. Have a look at this. Just 10 minutes from where I'm staying. Look at the symbol there of the Lamb of God, Baal. It's clear as day, guys. This is just around the corner. I go past every day and I just laugh. I think what I know about Baal, Bull, Bowl, and what the world doesn't know, it's so sad that they don't, mate. We miss out on all of this. Herbal, tribal, global, verbal, cannibal, gimbal, symbol, blaze, even this version. It's a blazing fire. It's there. Oval, navel, festival, carnival, revival. You've got the D version. They're interchangeable. Why all these words? Bull, bull, bull. Rubel, even Bel, the god. This is money. Rubel, because these are little money cows. They're cash cows, not just holy cows. Why do we say holy cow? What about a holy horse? Because these are not horses. Well, they are. Yes, they are. Kabbalah comes from the Spanish word caballo. Caballo. In Italian, cavallo. It's Kabbalah. Because why? Because these are working horses. These golden eggs, these apples of Apollo. You see? And it's blood. You see how it all comes from the bowl? It's pulsing. So if that's pulsing, what does the doctor check when he wants to see if your heart's good? Your heart pulse. Yeah, you see the pulse. Well, see, it's a pulse. That's telling you. It's not flowing, it's pulsating. And so what we'll do when we get back is we're going to learn about this pulse and how it creates a radiation wave. So I'm going to put this here so I'll remember, and how that radiation wave is magnetism. Magnetism radiates, electricity vibrates. Magnetism is longitudinal, electricity is transverse. This is an inferior energy, but it creates time and space. Wave amplitude, space. All right, question and answers then.
It looks like the Holy Grail
It is the Holy Grail.
Yes.
I've got pictures, we'll go through them. See, look at that, the tree. What's a tree? Look at the words. 3 is also here, 3. They're the same word, tree and 3. Tori, torunk, tor, because it's a torus field. The roots in the earth, this is Malkuth, this is Kitha. In every medium, whether it's fire, air, earth and water, you have tornadoes in the air, twister devils, that's bull, devil is diablo, diabolical. See, that's where the god Baal comes from. Ooh. It's Baal, diabol. So you've got in fire, you have these twister devils. Is that what they're called? Devil twisters or what? Whirlpool, there's Baal. Volcano. In every medium, it's hyperbolas. The sun, when you're looking at the sun, you're looking at the core, the bowl of its hyperbola. When I do sun gazing, I see the cross behind Christ. And then I see the torus field, and then I see all the 32 lines. I go from 4 to 8, 16, 32, 64. Your chessboard is too blurry. But you can see, if you stare at the sun every morning, I see 32, the 32 degrees of masonry. And it's in the sun. And people never look at the sun. It's like that, oh, yeah, there's the sun. Oh. It's like it's just not a part of their lives. It is the most important part of your life, especially if you get up in the morning, put your palms out at the sun and look at the sun. Learn how to do it first. Make sure the sun is low so it's not too hot and bright. I can look at it, I can just, any time of the day, I can just go bang, look at the sun and just revel in its glory. And it just makes your pineal gland hum, it just invigorates you, it energizes your brain. People are getting dementia and Alzheimer's because they're not looking at the sun. The sun is the saviour. Sol is the name, the sun's name. Sol is salt. And we are all magnesium, chlorine, sodium. That's all salt. Phosphate, potassium, those are all salts. That's what you're made of. And the sol, el sol, the sun, es el sal, which is salt, that gives you salud, salutations. You know, it's all in that word of saving. Salud comes from salt. And that's what's going on. And just to finish your question off there, what's that doing? Why is the Egyptians putting the sun, Baal, and the hourglass right between the wings of the winged disc, the sun? Because I see that every time. I look at the sun, I see the hourglass. You just look at the sun, and there's the beautiful, what you will see, the most amazing thing when you do solar gazing, and you start becoming a helionostic. You know what another word for helionostic is? Christian. We ought to be all good Christians. Helionostics. How to know the sun? Look at the sun. All right, another question.
So, yeah, if L and R are blue and red, right?
Yes.
I have been so curious about, and I think you've talked about this a few times, but the way that letters are drawn out, does that have anything to do with, like, why is an R drawn out like an R, and why is an L drawn out like an L? Is there any symbolism behind how letters get started, and why they decided that if left is an L, it's number 2, right? Blue is 2 and red is 1.
Yep.
So the L is 2 symbols, right? Like 1 and a 2, it's 2.
Yep.
But what about the R? Like how does the R symbolize 1 if there is meaning behind that?
Well, it doesn't necessarily represent 1. Okay, you've got to look at letters in gematria or gematria. They have a number value. Never forget the number value. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, R 18, L in all languages almost, Hebrew, I've done this in Hebrew, Greek, L is always 12. L is a circle, a cycle, an evolution. You see? L is love. Evolve backwards is love. And to evolve, you have to go through cycles. And that's what L represents, the 12ness of all cycles. That's why it's always the 12th letter. Lamed in Hebrew, Lambda in Greek, L in English, etc. And R, 6 times 6 times 6, R, redshift, is the mark of the beast, the proton. Because the proton is making the beast. The electron is bringing the beast back home. Back to God, back to source, back to this counter space, after its history has improved its file. You see? So we get reincarnated. We've opened the computer file, now we're on the screen. Earth means theatre. When you are on Earth, well, there's the earth, and the heart is your theatre. So now you have a heart, you have a core, and this is your apple, your Apollo field. You have a magnetic field, right? You've eaten the apple, you're in the theatre of the earth. But then when you die, time, old man Kronos, old man time, he tells you whatever comes born of me will die through me. That is the portal back to God. That's why Jesus says no one goes to the Father except through me. Because the Son is the Son, and you have to go back through the Son to get behind the Sun, the Imperium, where we come from.
Imperium?
Yeah, because the Sun's in the firmament. It's not in. Beyond that is the crystalline sea. Beyond that is the primum mobile, and the 11th sphere, according to the Neoplatonists, is the Imperium. Pear, fire, Imperium. I think it's spelled like that. Please don't. But that's the key. The fire of the source of cause. The sun is reflecting light from the sun behind the sun, above the dome, from source. It's not the original source of light. It's the Ram. The sun is called Ram in Hindu. Why? It's called Ram. Because it is Ram. That's why they call it that in the computer. It's the delivery system. It's bringing consciousness from the fire into your theatre. The sun is totally self-responsible for all of these vibrations. All of these vibrations you see here, in this world, the sun. Everything comes from the sun. It's the portal. That's why it's a holy. Whole is bowl. Bowl becomes whole. Okay, in Spanish you say hola, to say hello. In English we say hello, hell. But it's the same word. Bowl and hole are the same word because it is a wormhole. The sun's just a hole, it's not a ball. It doesn't fly. It's just a point of light moving across the torus field. And it's just a hole. It's holy. And that's what makes everything whole. Any more questions? Okay, one more.
Is there any validity to Chinese zodiac? And
Absolutely.
So how does that tie to what you're speaking about?
Well, the Chinese signs will be based on Jupiter. Jupiter it's not solar. The Chinese astrology is more based on Jupiter. He has 12-year cycle, and so, but those animals equate perfectly to.
You go like the way you do with the zodiacs, with the astrological zodiac.
Well, when at the very end,
when you get a chance.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll show you how all the Chinese signs actually fit perfectly over top the tropical signs.
And
They're one and the same.
And the minerals attached to it, like water, metal, wood.
Yeah, well, you're talking about the 5 elements in Chinese are introducing the proper 5 elements, but we don't use the ether. The ether is the magnetic field, guys. Okay? Rest, motion, form. Everything is made by resting and moving, resting and moving.
You mentioned something about Elohim, that's in a Hebrew word, right? For
Which
God,
word?
Elohim,
Yes?
that be the Yahweh, Elohim.
Yes, it is. Jehovah is
The
different.
Trinity.
Jehovah is Yod, He, Vah, He, the 4 elements. That's what Jehovah means. That's the demiurge.
So-
Elohim is 7.
The Elohim will be the spirit, if you refer to the Trinity. Yahweh,
I would say, no, Elohim is the soul, not
The
the
soul.
spirit. The soul, because
Okay.
it's 7. The soul is sevenfold, 7 chakras.
oh, okay.
You see, the soul is the body for the spirit.
For the spirit.
The body is the body, the physical body, for the soul. The soul is the intermediary. This is soul. This is spirit, this is body.
Okay.
All trinities are here, guys. You go back to this always, and you will get to the very end of all knowledge. Dielectricity, Krishna, Radharani, Balaram. Once we get through this presentation, you will have no doubt about it. That's how it is. So the more you take notes and pay attention to these very small details, this is all about paying attention. You don't have to be a genius. Just pay attention. Everything's there. You know, we're just too busy not paying attention. I spend a lot of time reading books, meditating. Yeah. So I got the reward that I was looking for. I prayed for it. You know? I worked for it. I learned languages. I speak 8 languages. I learned music. I play 2 instruments, and I've been a professional musician all my life. I'm an autodidact. I didn't go to school to learn any of that. I was out of there even before I turned 15. I didn't want to be programmed. I wanted to have my own wisdom. So I left school and I went on Double Day Book Club, and I got all these historical books, filled my room up with books, and studied. And I've been on this path since 81, when I was just 20, even earlier, but reading, you know.
So, if you're talking to a layman, just the average Joe, and you're trying, or a school teacher like my mom, you know, she's a school teacher, so they're thinking in terms of like language and of course like Latin, right? Everything comes from Latin. And then you've got with the Phoenicians, the phonies, right?
Yep.
But how would you describe like where this language comes from? Like the source of this language, like where it got originated and how it got, the architecture was formed.
All is atum. This is the sound. Electricity, when it arcs, you hear that. You can hear it doing that. That's how electricity works. It breaks away. This redshift, this is a noise, sound. And it makes, it depends on the atom and the element. It can be, it can be kr. Kr is a real good root, Krishna. The Krishnas say that the first sound is kr. So this is and that would be kr. But it's all sound. This is all sound. You can't hear the frequencies, guys. Our ears are so limited. When you go in the pool and you're in the water, how much can you hear? Someone speaking is like, and they're talking, because the waves get slowed down. You can't hear in water. Same with air. These ears are not for hearing spiritual things. That's why Jesus says, for those who have ears to hear and those with eyes to see, because we're not seeing. And why? Because they're giving us the wrong models.
But spiritual sound, spiritual vision.
That's it. Sound and vision.
Yeah.
God is sound and vision.
You have the optics and the octaves, right? They're similar words.
Sound and vision. Deo, Dios. It's gold and God, visual God.
That's it.
Audio and video, that's just God. Sonoluminescence. You gotta look at the words and pay attention. The rewards. Yes, sister. One more.
Santos, and the indigenous cultures, what we learn is not only by seeing and hearing, it's about feeling.
Yeah, feeling. Cancer. Yep. Beautiful. Thanks for that. 10-minute break. Oh, what about lunch?
You go to lunch at 1?
Oh, okay. Sorry then. I didn't realise. Yeah, we'll have a 10-minute break. Oh, lunch is when? Well, we'll do more question and answers then. Okay. All right. Is that cool? Does that work for everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, thanks guys. And what we'll do is after lunch we'll just do question and answers. I feel the need for that. What do you reckon? And then get into the next part of building this. Yes.
When the music starts.
Which music?
I think
Sounds.
When did it start?